Okay. So let's see it. So this is also a very fundamental question. Okay. Let's see. So what are we doing? We are taking the integers 1, 2, 3 till 6. Okay. And we are doing an arithmetic. Okay. We are trying to build an arithmetic system from these 6 things. What are the rules? So as you can guess, if you have done some elementary number theory, even if you're not done, it's not doesn't matter. The point is that you can just check. You can just check that this is a very obvious solution. So, for example, if you are going to add 2 and 5, then how should you define 2 plus 5? Any guesses? Not a hard one. You just define it to be 0, right? It's 7, right? So you can just define 7 to be 0 in your new world. That's the obvious thing, right? Because the 7 is the next number, but there's no next number, so just cycle back. And even either ways, the addition is defined as 2 plus 5 remainder when divided by 7. Okay, remainder when divided by 7. So you understand how the addition is defined? Okay, 2 plus 5 7, you take this mod 7. So this is just the world of mod 7, and in this world addition is very easily defined, we all understand. Similarly, when we say addition, we also want to talk about multiplication. Multiplication is also defined, right? Because if you take 2 into 5, 2 into 5 is 10, so 10 becomes your 3. Just take remainder by 7. That's the definition in this world. It becomes 3. So multiplication is also defined. Okay, so now whenever we define multiplication in a system, or whenever we are able to define a second binary operation, this is the second binary operation on the same set, we are asking if you have inverses. Okay, before we ask that, we have to define what is an identity. Now, of course, 1 is the identity you can check, right? Because 5 into 1 will leave remainder 5 only. It's just 1, so this is the same remainder. 1 is the identity, right? So now we are asking the question that does for every element x, does there exist a y such that x times y is leaving a remainder 1. So I'm just using this notation now, modulo 7. Is that okay for everyone? Okay, that's what I'm basically asking you to prove. Now, why am I doing this? Okay, because then this structure, if you can prove that for every x there is a y such that x times y is 1 modulo 7 or leaves a remainder 1, then in some sense this x, or in the sense of this arithmetic, this y becomes the inverse of x. That's how inverses are defined, right? Half is defined as a number which when you multiply with 2 gives you 1. So in this way also, y is the 1 by x in this world. Okay, so then this world would have inverses, multiplicative inverses. Okay, and you remember when we defined vector spaces, we said anything, you can define a vector space over R, you can define it over C, you can define it over Q, you can define it over anything which has inverses, right? So then we can study vector spaces over finite field. These are called finite fields because anything which has arithmetic and inverses is called a field. Okay, but so I think maybe we will not study finite, do vector spaces over finite field right away. Okay, because I think we have to first get familiar with this. We'll have to do a bit of algebra to do that, but at least this problem one can try. So now I've set up the context. So anybody would like to go ahead and tell me how this is done? I know how to prove that every element has inverse. Anyone wants to
We
give
can
it a
just
try?
find for in this case. In this case, we can just
Absolutely.
find.
Okay. Yeah. So in this case, you can just find. Okay. So people just verify that you can just find. Okay. So just find by brute force. Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, brute force. That's okay, but anyone wants to have give a different approach to this, because this will also lead to linear combinations actually. So if anyone wants to say, we can listen to them. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so I will just give a brief sketch. Okay, I think someone has messaged me. CRT. No, you CRT okay. CRT is something that I plan to talk. I did talk about with one of just a few days back only, but no. But CRT is not needed here. CRT is much harder than what you're thinking. Okay, this is much simpler than that. Okay, let's just break the problem down to normal equations and we can answer the question. CRT is comes much later than what I'm asking is much simpler actually. So you see, so by CRT, I mean he means Chinese remainder theorem. I think. Okay, so well, we basically want a y, right? So if given a x, you want a y such that 7 divides x minus y. This is the thing. Okay, so whenever there is this, see, these notations help you to compute. Okay, they make computations easier, but when you are not very familiar with it, it's a good idea to break it down into equations and divisibility, because to prove things, that's more important. Of course, theorems are better proved sometimes with this, but those are mostly of a computational nature, like Fermat's theorem and so on. Well, they are not computational only, but anyways. So 7 divides xy, this is what we want, right? To break it down even further, right? Basically boils down to this. So there is a lot of interesting number theoretic things that one can say from here, but we will not. We'll just get the answer and move forward. Okay, so we want this, right? Remember, x is given, we are looking for a y. Okay, find y. Now this further can be written like this, equal to 1. And since k is an integer, you can take k equal to minus k and you can write it like this. Okay, well, so eventually what do we want? Eventually x is given. Okay, and well, you could say that x is given and 7 is given. Okay, x is given and 7 is given. And you're looking for a y and a k which will make it 1. Okay, is that okay, right? So essentially here also you are taking linear combinations. So what am I saying? Basically, you start with the two numbers x and 7. X is a number, mind you. X is a number, but we're just doing it arbitrarily, so we are writing it like that. X is not something that we are trying to find. It is just a number. Treat it like a number. We're basically taking x and 7 and we are taking all linear combinations of x and 7. But in this case, the linear combinations are only taken over integers. So it does not form a vector space because the base thing is not a field. It's not something that has inverses. Just think of it like that. So basically, we're taking in linear combinations, right? So for example, we have x plus 7, we have a 2x plus 7, we have x plus 7 into 2. There are so many linear
So
combinations
I
that you take. Yeah.
so I had one question. So x can be any integer in this case. Means x we're taking to be any integer, or in the set is from 0 to 6.
X is between 0 to 6. Yeah. Well, it doesn't
So
matter.
but
You
for
can.
zero
Yeah.
we never get an inverse. For zero we will never get an inverse because all
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know
So I think, yeah. So I mean 1 to 6. Yeah.
multiples of
Yeah,
7.
one, two.
I
Okay.
actually, in my question, I had written 1 to 6 only. Here, I somehow wrote 0 to 6. Yeah, but you're right. Yeah. Except for 0, obviously, you will not get. 0, you will not get, obviously. That's right. But you see, here, essentially, what we are doing is we are trying to form all kinds of linear combination. Okay. And we are asking, is there a linear combination that will give the vector 1 or the number 1? You see, that's what this question is. Okay, so is there a linear combination that gives 1? Integer linear in this case, the linear
Yeah.
combinations are integer. That is the question. Okay, so now I will ask you people to think about this for homework, because we don't want to discuss the entire thing in the class, right? We want to now think from here. Okay, of course, anybody who knows the solution, don't shout it out now. For those who don't know, also just think about it, how to try to do it on your own. Is there a linear combination for which you can find it? So yes, you see, so this goes into a different kind of vector space theory, where the linear combinations are not taken over fields. Okay, they are taken over integers. Linear combinations, just addition and subtraction, basically. Okay, so there the theory is quite different. Okay, the smaller guy generates a bigger subspace in that case, because we cannot divide. So anyway, so with all that, we will be able to show that you can define vector spaces over finite fields. So yeah, okay, everything has inverses. So for example, let's just write something. Let's just write some. For example, if x is equal to 3, then y would be equal to what? If x is equal to 3, then y would be, how much do you have to take? 5, right? Take y to be 5.
Yeah,
3 is 5. Yeah.
Yeah, so 3 is 5 inverse, so 5 inverse is 3 in this case. Some things like
Mm-hmm.
that, okay? So yeah, that is the thing. We will discuss more about this in detail later. Meanwhile, I think we'll have to move to the next question. Okay. As the addition is defined, we could get a linear combination such that it is 1. We can do that by brute force, but what about when the set is large? Yeah, exactly. So that's the point. When the set is large, then you have to find a general reason, okay, why you can get 1. Like, for example, you take instead of 7, you take 13, and then you try to do, or you take 23. Take some prime number and try. Try to prove that you can get a linear combination. So you have to prove that you can get a linear combination. You don't have to get a linear. Okay, so I think the network is there or is gone. The network is gone. Very good.